Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Valley of Flowers, there lived a princess named Anaya. Princess Anaya was kind-hearted and simple. She had a special maid named Rubina. By a strange twist of fate, Anaya and Rubina looked exactly alike. The only difference was that the princess wore royal clothes, while Rubina wore shabby old garments. Rubina burned with jealousy. She thought, "If our faces are the same, why does she sit on the throne and I stand below?" One night, while the king and queen were away visiting another country, Rubina hatched a terrible plot. She drugged the princess's food so Anaya would fall unconscious. When the princess lost consciousness, Rubina put on the princess's precious royal clothes and dressed Anaya in her own tattered garments. Rubina ordered the palace guards, who were part of her conspiracy, "Take this thieving servant out of the palace and sell her in the slave market so she can never come back." The next morning, Princess Anaya woke up not in the palace, but locked inside a cage in a noisy marketplace. She cried out, "I am Princess Anaya! Let me go!" People laughed. She wore rags and no one believed her. The auction began. A mad girl who calls herself a princess. She knows nothing useful. Who will buy her? Bids were made. Finally, a stonecutter spent his life savings to buy her. He needed a cheap wife to help with household chores. Meanwhile, in the palace, Rubina began ruling as if she were the princess. No one suspected a thing. Meanwhile, the real Princess Anaya lived in the small, ramshackle home of the stonecutter, whose name was Jabar. Anaya, who had never so much as lifted a glass of water herself, now had to haul stones, cook, and tend to burns and blisters. She cried every day and cursed her fate. But Jabar was not cruel. When he saw that the girl's hands were too soft for the work, he eased her burden and treated her with respect. He said, "I thought I had bought a servant, but you seem like someone from a fine household who lost her way." Anaya did not tell Jabar who she really was. She feared Rubina would have her killed. A year passed. In the palace, the fake Princess Rubina had grown arrogant and cruel. Even the king and queen were puzzled by how their gentle daughter had suddenly become so ill-mannered. The king announced that, for the princess's birthday, he would invite the common people so she could distribute charity among the poor. When Anaya heard this, she made a decision. She told Jabar, "Take me to the palace. I will change your fate." On the day of the celebration, the poor stood in long lines. Rubina, pretending to be the princess, sat on the throne, tossing coins at the crowd with pride. When it was Jabar and Anaya's turn, Anaya wore a veil. As she approached the throne, she produced something she had kept hidden for a year, a childhood keepsake that only the king and his real daughter knew about, a small music box that played a lullaby. Anaya wound it and let it play. The king froze. That melody was known only to his true daughter. Rubina grew nervous. Anaya then removed her veil. The crowd gasped. The faces of the woman on the throne and the veiled beggar were identical. The king was stunned. Who was the real princess? Rubina shouted, "She's an imposter! Arrest her!" Soldiers stepped forward. Anaya, instead of shrinking away, looked the king in the eye and said, "Father, do you remember when I was 5 and I injured my wrist trying to catch a butterfly in the garden? That scar is still there." She showed her wrist. There was an old scar. The king immediately seized Rubina's wrist. It was unmarked. The secret was revealed. Rubina was arrested. The king embraced his daughter and wept. He wanted to bring her back to the palace at once. Princess Anaya put the crown back on her head, but she took Jabar's hand as well. She told the king, "When I was the princess, I was weak. When I was auctioned, I was broken. But living with that laborer taught me patience and gratitude. I will return to the palace, but my minister will be this man, Jabar, because when everyone turned away, he was the only one who treated me like a human being." The auction had taken the princess's crown, but in return, it gave her a heart far more precious than a golden tiara.